Hey guys, this is Shanice. This is my micro teaching assignment. It's on behavior and social learning. This presentation will define behavior and social learning, discuss Ivan Pavlov's research on experiments about behaviors and social learning, show how Pavlov and his other theories could work in the classroom, and explain classroom incentives to possibly use in the future. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Behaviorism is defined as a theory of learning based upon the idea that all behaviors acquired through conditioning. Conditioning is basically just another way of saying learning or experience. Conditioning occurs through interaction with the environment, and some behaviors feel that any person, regardless of disability, can be able to train to do any task. So we have some examples of behaviorism. We have animals. Animals are the most thing that we probably know easily about behaviorism. Both of these animals were trained to do something. They didn't wake up riding their bicycle or walking the dog. They were trained to do so. Okay? Ivan Pavlov in his classical conditioning, his definition is it is a type of learning which is based on the association of a stimulus that does not ordinarily elicit a particular response with another stimulus that does elicit that response. So basically he was saying that his experiments with dogs, when he had the dogs, he was studying how much salivation dogs would have when meat was presented in front of them. However, when the dog started to hear the sound of the lab attendant coming in, they associated, what food was coming. So before this experiment, they would not associate the sound of the lab assistant coming into the lab with food. So he was more curious about that, and he defined them as unconditioned stimulus, conditioned stimulus, unconditioned response, and conditioned response. The unconditioned stimulus was the meat. Naturally, a dog will salivate when presented with meat. So this is before conditioning. The neutral stimulus was the ring, the sound of the bell. The bell beforehand did not cause any salivation with the dogs. But when he presented the bell with the meat after conditioning and training, the end result was the sound of the bell caused the dogs to salivate. They associated the sound of the bell with meat or food that was coming. So these are just some tips that could possibly be used in the classroom. The next theory is we have the Edward Thorndike. He used operant conditioning, which is similar to classical conditioning. Behavior that brings about a satisfied effect or reinforcement is apt to be performed again and again, whereas behavior that brings about a negative effect or punishment is apt to be suppressed. So basically, if you do something and you receive a positive response, you're probably more apt to do it again. So this is similar to what you can do in the classroom with classroom incentives. There's different schedules for reinforcement, fixed ratio. You can give a child a reinforcement after a certain amount of, let's say if you do 10 math problems, I'll give you a piece of candy. The next one is variable fixed. There is no actual set number. If you want to give them a piece of candy after every 3, 5, 7, problems, that's up to you. The next one is fixed interval. If you want to give them a piece of candy or whatever it is that you're giving them after a certain amount of time, 15 minutes, 20, 25, what's up to you. The next one is variable interval, based on the time passing, but the time period keeps changing. So if you want to give them something after 15 minutes, then after 5, so there is nothing consistent with the variable intervention. So whichever one of these type of schedule of reinforcement works for you, I would suggest you try it. Classical conditioning in the classroom, these are just some things you can do. Attractive learning aids, decorate the classroom, greet the students with a smile, inform the students clearly and specifically that the format of quizzes, tests, and examinations. It's important for kids to have positive associations with tests. So you don't want their first experience with an exam or a test to be, they failed it because they didn't know it was coming. So that one's really important. And there's some others. I'm going to post this PowerPoint to go along with the video as well. So then we have decorative learning. So here is an idea of what a decorative learning environment using that classical conditioning. See, the teacher in this room, everything's very organized, very bright. So kids will automatically associate a nice and bright, colorful classroom with learning, make learning fun. Everything is really, really organized and structured. Okay? And here are some colorful classroom aids. Everything is color-coded. They're learning about reading, and everything has a different color. So it'll be easier for them to learn as well as better for them to look at than just white piece of paper. Okay, operant conditioning, some things that you can do, cookies, candies, just things that you don't have to buy, positive reinforcement, a good job, a pat on the back, if you're going to do stickers, pencils, whatever. These are all the different things that you can use in the classroom. Applying social learning in the classroom, make sure you, those positive role models in the classroom, make sure you reward them or show them, hey, I like the way Johnny's sitting, or I like the way Kevin is doing his math. Some type of praise that will use them as a model in the classroom. Okay, and finally, here are some ideas from reinforcement for elementary. You can do more computer time. Maybe some of these don't even cost money. More computer time, teach a class, extra recess. High school, you can use no homework pass, extra credit, coupons, pens, candy, whatever works for you. And again, here's some classroom incentive ideas. You can set everything up nice and neatly like this teacher did, so they get an idea of what they could earn and what they could do with the things that they have earned. Okay? And finally, this is just a chart that basically said behavior, personality, and environment all affect one another. I know there's going to be some kids, no matter how much candy, how much positive talk you give them, they're still going to have behaviors. So it's important for us teachers to keep in mind that we're not the only person that sees them every day. So their behavior could be affected by their personality or their environment. What did they go home to every day? So don't be so hard on yourself if some of these things are not working in the classroom. Okay, so the wrap-up questions is, can we use behavior and social learning in the classroom? What are some positive and negative aspects of using positive reinforcement? The main thing, what I found with the second one, using positive reinforcement, is sometimes it becomes expected, and that's when it's a problem. The kids think they should feel they are entitled to getting something. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to work for it. And how do you motivate students who lack motivation? That was again with the chart. It's just understand that, just find what they like. You know your kids better than anybody else. And finally, should you change incentives throughout the year? Because throughout the school year, kids might be bored with this. So it'd be nice to just switch it up every once in a while so they have something else to look forward to. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you.